What about the person who just got married? How should they choose or they look at sum insured?
The most disastrous mistake that you can make, right, by taking a, if at a young age you have a lifestyle disease, that's a bigger red flag than a senior citizen having the same disease.
मतलब people think कि मेरा health खराब होगा तो मुझे health insurance लेना चाहिए, but it's the other way around, which you keep on saying it.
Yeah. If you have a disease, still you should go ahead and buy a policy quickly because your choices have narrowed down, but it could narrow down further.
So you
are
said
a consumer, right? You can stop me wherever you want.
If I'm thinking, I want to cover my mom and dad, like for any worse conditions which might happen in the future, how should I look at it?
Healthcare inflation is not going to slow down for a good period of time unless government steps in and does something. इंडिया जो कंट्री है, राइट, उसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है जो समझनी चाहिए कि इंडिया में गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट स्पेंड ऑन हेल्थ केयर.
पहली चीज़ तो मतलब आई एम करंटली शॉक कि 50 lakh is the minimum cover. Hi guys, this is Hitesh and welcome to Insurance Unfiltered Season 2. We have Mahavir with us in today's podcast. Welcome Mahavir. So in this series, I'll play the role of the customer. So any questions, anything which is related to the customer, I'll play that role, I'll ask it, and we have the expert, obviously, Mahavir with us, who will answer those questions. You, especially you guys, any questions, any doubts, anything you have, write it in the comments and we'll take that in the next podcast. It will be completely unfiltered, so please feel free to write all the doubts in the comment section.
Wait, you watch, you learn, but you don't subscribe. Why? 85% of you are guilty. Fix it now. Hit that subscribe button.
So without any further ado, let's start this particular podcast. So hi Mahavir.
Hey, hi Hitesh.
So Mahavir, straight away, directly first question.
Yeah.
You have told that sum insured in the health insurance policy is one of the most important thing to look at, right? So for a common man, सबसे पहले एक simple question है आपसे. What do you mean by sum insured? Sum insured होता क्या है?
Right. तो मतलब sum insured is basically the quantum of the cover that you're taking, right? मतलब कितनी quantity का cover ले रहे हो? Like if I'm buying a bottle of shampoo, so if I'm buying a 100 ml shampoo or a 200 ml shampoo, or I'm buying a sachet, right? Similarly, health insurance में you are not buying health insurance per se, you're buying health insurance of a certain amount, right? Technically, it is a liability cover, right? Meaning it's a cover on the liability that an insurance company has, right? So मतलब an insurance company is committing that if you are going to make a claim in any year or a hospitalization के लिए जिसके लिए health insurance use होता है, then how much will they be maximum liable to pay for you in a year, right? So sum insured has two aspects to it. One is the quantum and it is limited to typically a year, right? So annually आप कितना use कर सकते हो cover को, that is basically called sum insured. In today's world, a lot of people call it cover amount, right? Like what is the cover amount that you have? एंड बहुत लोग तो सिर्फ इतना ही बोलते हैं कि मतलब कितने की हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस है आपके पास, तो मैं बोलूँगा मैंने 5 लाख की हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस ली है, कोई बोलेगा मैं 20 लाख की हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस ली, मैंने 1 करोड़ की हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस ली, राइट? सो पीपल टॉक लाइक दैट. सो इट्स बेसिकली लाइक अ lingo that people use, but that is what health insurance is. Health insurance is the cover amount that you're taking.
Got it. So अभी सम इंश्योर्ड समझ में आया, तो एक काम करते हैं, मतलब लेट्स टेक इट लाइक दिस कि फॉर अ ग्रेजुएट, अ पर्सन हु इज जस्ट ग्रेजुएटिंग आउट ऑफ द कॉलेज, right, 22-23 old kid who is just entering into the professional world, what does he or she should take care while taking the health insurance policy in terms of sum insured? Like kitna sum insured he or she should take?
Correct. So at that age, typically if you started thinking about health insurance, that in itself is a great thing, right? Because typically हमको and I'm talking about, let's say, having a career of almost like 18-19 years now, it's been quite a big task to ask young people to be able to buy health insurance. So if someone is thinking about it, it's a great thing, first of all. At that age, at 22-23, it's good to start, right? That is the best thing, right? If you're able to start at that age, that is in itself a great achievement. My usual recommendation is that you start small. So you can start small at, let's say, 5 lakhs of a cover, right? Usually अगर आप ऑनलाइन जा रहे हो तो आपको 5 लाख के नीचे मिल भी नहीं रहा है कवर, right? So you have to buy let's say you're buying a 5 lakh cover, and that should be good enough for you for, let's say, another 3-4 years minimum, and then you can basically look at upgrading later on.
तो एक मैं बेसिकली महावीर थोड़ा ऐसा होगा कि एट सम प्लेसेस आई माइट स्टॉप यू इन बिटवीन बिकॉज मेरे देयर विल बी मल्टीपल क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आई हैव एज अ कस्टमर.
So you said a consumer, right? You can stop me wherever you want.
So you told in between, you used a statement कि अगर आप ऑनलाइन जा रहे हो तो if you are going online, so what does that mean कि ऑनलाइन जा रहे हो
Yeah,
तो
मतलब
5
I'm
लाख
saying that internet based. I have been in the internet space, right? In the internet space of insurance, right? तो मुझे जब भी मैं बात करता हूँ तो I will talk about internet
Okay.
more. Typically, the people who are watching this are also watching it online.
Hmm.
So if you go online to buy health insurance today, then most of the insurance companies, and I think it's almost 99.99% companies, do not give you a cover less than 5 lakhs today. And that's why you
Okay.
start from the minimum
Got it.
and then graduate gradually from there as दो चीज़ होगी, एक तो होगा कि योर इनकम विल इंक्रीज, सो योर अफोर्डेबिलिटी विल इंक्रीज.
Yes.
You can start with a small cover which takes care of the diseases that can happen at that age, like food poisoning hoga, right? Yeah, basically, typically there could be some kidney stone, appendix, those kind of things will happen, which are easily covered in 5 lakhs. The chronic diseases that we are talking about, वो बाद में भी cover हो जाएगी.
Got it.
So that's why you can start with a small cover, and there is a reason why the small cover is important, मतलब to start with, because आप आपके सारे जो there are a lot of waiting periods that are there in health insurance, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
आप अभी 5 लाख से जब शुरू करोगे, when you start with 5 lakhs,
Mm-hmm.
by the time you actually need the cover, or you don't even need the cover, let's say when you're coming to a stage where you now want to buy a higher cover,
Got
right?
it.
And you let's say getting married or you have more responsibilities, at that time those waiting periods would have got over, right?
Okay.
That
Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. So I got the understanding. Now what about like people at my age? वो 25 से 30 का जो एज ब्रैकेट होता है, when people get the conscious, like for me, I'll take my personal example कि when I started my career, I started with campus placement, I got into a reputed organization, then they provided me the health insurance. So उस वक्त मेरे दिमाग में नहीं आया कि health insurance लेना चाहिए, but when I changed my job, तब मुझे पता चला अच्छा ये तो health insurance है ही नहीं. Then I realized कि यार I should have my own personal health insurance. So majorly people switch around 25 26, right, after 2 years 3 years of experience. So what about those people, those customers who are in the age bracket of 25 to 30 who are now who wants to take the health insurance, तो उनका sum insured कितना होना चाहिए?
Right. So typically, मतलब after you have reached an age where you are now able to afford a good health insurance, which is basically you started earning reasonably well, then you should start looking at health insurance for a very long period of time, right? आपने starting में एक health insurance cover ले लिया, that cover is basically going to take care of you for smaller diseases which you would have or would be exposed to when you're young, right? But as you grow older, it's important that you cover yourself for a longer period of time, right? मतलब for a long term actually, right? So basically आप जब when you're hitting somewhere close to between 28 and 31 32, at that time is the right time for you to start reviewing your health insurance for your lifetime, right?
Got it.
Typically मैं अगर if I were you, what I would have done is that at 28 or 30, if I have reasonable income, I would typically go for a very very large cover. Let's say I would basically do a quick calculation of the cover that I need at 50 55 and buy it at the age of 28 30. There are two reasons for this. One is that you now have reasonable income which will take care of you being able to pay the premium. Second is that 30 के बाद आजकल बीमारियां होने लगी है लोगों को, right? And people have started seeing diseases happening.
Yes.
And before 30 or at 30, you are at the most fit period. When you're most fit, you are also having good disposable income, which is basically the savings that you have is much better. So and instead of buying something which is not useful or basically something which is a luxury item like an iPhone or buying something which is very expensive, you could actually invest into something like this, right? And that is the age where typically you are also probably going to get more responsibilities. You may have probably a lot of people get married at that age also.
Yes.
So from that perspective, it is important that you take that as a milestone. Typically 30 should be the end of the milestone where you decide that okay, this is the age, now I should calculate my cover that I need at 50 and above and take it that time.
Got it. So you talked about marriage, so I was coming to that itself कि in coming few years, 1 or 2 years maximum, or let's talk about my brother who got married, right? He got a son also, like, so what about those people who just got married? What should they look at कि अगर मैं individual का ले रहा हूँ तो I'll take it for myself, I'll look at कि 20 years down the line how much cover should I take it, which you said. What about the person who just got married?
Correct.
Now a spouse is also there. Now they will have a son or daughter, right?
Correct.
How should they choose or they look at some insured in the health insurance?
Yeah, so meaning see there is no major difference, right? Meaning once you're looking at someone, you should start looking at it individually only. And then you can look at the unit being a family instead of being an individual, right? So typically, let's say if you're talking about your brother and he is basically, let's say 2 years elder to you, and he is now looking at buying health insurance, so you should look at what is the cover good for him at the age of 50 and what is the good cover for his wife at the age of 50, and then
Okay.
basis that they should
Mhm.
look at buying a cover of that amount, right?
Got it. So individually देखना है. They should like
First you look at it individually and then we can discuss
Okay.
like, so there are two types of policies, right? There are individual policies and floater policies,
Hmm.
right? And we've discussed this in a different podcast, but I'll still take it
हाँ.
2 minutes to explain.
Yes.
कि इंडिविजुअल पॉलिसी वो होती है जो बेसिकली एक इंडिविजुअल का कवर है, राइट? इट्स बेसिकली अ गाय हु इज बाइंग अ पॉलिसी फॉर देमसेल्व्स. A floater policy is a policy which is a policy between 2 individuals or 3 individuals where it is one cover but it is shared amongst the 3 people.
3 people.
So अगर मैं 10 लाख की पॉलिसी ले रहा हूँ, I am individually covered in it, I can only take that, use that cover. But if I am taking it with my wife and it's a 10 lakh cover, then both of us together can use 10 lakhs. I can use 1, 9 can be used by my wife. I can use 9, she can use 1, 4, 6, whatever, right? In any
Logical.
combination.
Okay, got
So
it.
that is called the floater policy. So, but when you're looking at buying a health insurance, the way you should look at it is look at individual covers that are required. And floater should just be a sum total of the cover that you're going to take individually. So let's say if I have decided that 10 lakhs is good for me, then if I'm buying a policy of floater for 2 people, then it should be 10 plus 10, 20. And that should be the floater that should be bought.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So अपन ने we have talked about the graduate, we talked about my age when we get serious about the health insurance, then we talked about marriage also. Now let me like I'm thinking about my family because like कौन से एज पे किसको लेना चाहिए, right? तो at 35 majorly you are saying कि मतलब 35 तक तो each and every individual should have it. You said 30.
I said 30.
You said 30.
Yeah,
okay, you said 30. But let's say कि मैं चल 30 ही मान लेते हैं कि
I'll tell you why 35 is not good right now. If
Okay.
you see 30s are the new 40s in my view, right? अगर आप किसी भी डॉक्टर को पूछोगे तो whatever diseases used to happen to people at 50 are happening at 40. Whatever diseases that people used to have at 40 are happening at 35 today, right? And you look at numbers and we can play out numbers while this what we are talking about is that the number of heart surgeries, and this is obviously not to scare anybody, but it is the truth, right? The number of heart surgeries, the number of even normal like young folks having to go to hospitalization has significantly increased. Like my father would have required only a age related surgeries in his life, right? Or an accident related surgery.
Yes,
But I am seeing people who are 5 years older to me or 5 years younger to me are going through hospitalizations or surgeries for lifestyle diseases which did not occur earlier, right? तो ये जो 35 और 30 के बीच में का जो gap है, that's a huge thing. 25 and 30 is not a big difference. But in my view, 30 and 35 is a huge difference. And every day we see this on our Beshak forum, which is a forum where experts come and answer questions for customers, right? That there is someone who is 33, 34, 35 year old who is saying that I have diabetes or I have 2 diseases and now I'm not getting the cover that I wanted, right? What should I do?
Okay.
Right? So younger age groups do not actually get covers that an older age group could get. The reason is that if at a young age you have a lifestyle disease, that's a bigger red flag than a senior citizen having the same disease.
Okay.
So senior citizen having a disease like diabetes, it is age induced. When it is age induced, insurers are still fine with it. But if it is lifestyle induced, then insurers are not fine with it. And insurers will raise a red flag saying that boss, ये अपना ध्यान नहीं रख रहा है.
Got
Right? So
it.
this is a risky proposition for me. I am not going to take this customer. Young people with diabetes don't get covers. Old people with diabetes get a cover.
So can you expand a little more on this red flag thing? Like you're saying कि 30 से 35 में अगर diabetes we are having, then it's a big red flag for the insurance company. Can you expand it a little more? Can you give a more example to the customer who are listening कि why should they get the health insurance policy by age 30? वो 5 साल का bracket you are saying कि वो red flag हो जाएगा. Why? Can you explain it a little more?
So that's what I said. Okay? मतलब 30 at the age of 30, why you should buy a cover for the age of 50 is because if at any point in time at that age group of between 30 and 40, if there is a disease that happens, right, then जो जितने अच्छे covers मिलते हैं, जो comprehensive coverages that are available in the market, you may not get those coverages, right? एक insurance company can reject a customer from getting a coverage for a large amount, a large sum insured, for example, or can reject giving a policy which is more comprehensive, right? Instead of that they may give a policy which may not be that comprehensive, थोड़ा average policy मिलेगा आपको. तो your choices or the kind of options that are available for you get restricted as soon as you or your family has a disease. So आपने एक example दिया जहाँ पे husband and wife है. Husband is buying the cover. So he is thinking about him. He may be someone who is very, very fit, but he may get married to someone who's not fit, right? Or he is married to someone who's not fit. What about that? Like the wife is buying the cover, but she's thinking about her. She has to also think about the husband because they are going to buy a policy together. Then the husband is not fit, right? And the husband has probably may get an issue or health issue later on. So you have to basically take 30 as a milestone and get a good cover for your old age, 50, 55, 60, whatever, so that if at any point in time a disease occurs because of which an health insurance company now puts a red flag and does not allow you to upgrade, right, then that becomes an issue. So मैंने suppose I'll give you a very simple example that I am at the age of 30, right, and I have basically taken a cover only of 10 lakhs. मुझे लगता है कि 10 लाख बहुत हो गया, right? मतलब क्या करना है, at any point in time मेरा hospitalization 10 लाख के ऊपर नहीं जा सकता,
ठीक है,
और जब आएगी टाइम तभी मैं ले लूंगा कवर, right? So I am now 30 की उम्र मैंने ले ली 10 लाख, and I am not looking at it, I've forgotten about it. Now at 35, let's say I've got diabetes, right?
Okay.
And now I'm going to an insurance saying that, hey, you know what, I want to upgrade my cover. Not necessarily an insurer is going to agree to cover, to increase your coverage. Right? Upgrade, reject हो सकता है. The insurance company is saying that you're coming at a time when your risks have increased, right? So I may not increase your cover, right? There could be a good chance that you may not be able to increase the cover. This is talking about diabetes. Like for example, let's say someone, today mental illness related issues, you don't get coverage very easily, right? So someone can basically get exposed, like has been diagnosed with some mental illness, right?
Okay.
And that mental illness could be the reason why an insurance company may say, I'm not going to give you an upgrade. An insurer has the full right to basically disagree to give you a cover, may reject your request of an additional cover. For an insurance company, giving you an additional cover is like giving you an additional policy, right? आपने 10 लाख की policy ली. Now you have reached the age of 35. You are saying that अच्छा अभी मेरे पास ज़्यादा पैसा है. Now I want to buy a higher cover. But you know what? I have diabetes, I have hypertension, I also have a back issue, or I have a mental illness, and these are the things that I have, and now I want to upgrade my cover. There is a chance that an insurance company may not agree to give you that additional cover. And exactly why 30 is a good age where you are fit, you are healthy, maybe your lifestyle is also good, and you also have enough disposable income, all that combination which I mentioned, which helps you to be at the right advantage of taking a very high cover and completely being at rest, meaning being assured that now even if I have a disease in the later stages, I already have a cover for the disease.
मतलब health insurance company, they define their own rules,
of course,
and that's why like कोई अगर बंदा, if a person at 35 he has these diseases, he'll or she will not be able to.
yes,
but why
it becomes difficult.
why are you saying कि मतलब they will get an average cover, they will not get a comprehensive coverage? मतलब
see, the reason is that the comprehensive cover is a slightly a cover that is basically has more kind of benefits, right? And it's a cover which has lesser restrictions, right?
Okay.
And that's why, because of which basically they would be, an insurance company is more interested to give it to someone who does not have a disease or does not have a lifestyle issue, right? But if someone has a disease and that person is basically in the eyes of the insurer having is a riskier kind of a profile, then they will have basically say कि आप ये cover नहीं मिल सकता आपको दूसरा cover मैं देता हूँ, ये लीजिए आप. Like I give you an example that suppose someone who's 30, 35-year-old and he has diabetes and hypertension.
Okay.
Then the same insurance company, right, will probably not give the policy, which is a policy where there is no room rent limit, no financial limits in the policy, everything is covered. उसकी जगह पे they may give a policy which has a room rent limit, which has basically some kind of financial limits, which basically probably has surgery limits also, कि आपको मैं cardiac के लिए इतना ही पैसा दूंगा, इसके लिए मैं आपको इतना ही पैसा दूंगा. It may have a share with the insurance company at the time of claim, which is called co-pay. where the insurance company में से कि हर बार जब claim होगा तो अब वो 20% आपको pay करना पड़ेगा. So insurance companies are basically balancing out the health that you have, right? If you have a health issue, and the premium that you can pay, affordability, and then they basically are balancing it out using coverages, right?
Okay.
So अगर मैं बहुत ही, if I am having very good health, right, and then I could give you a very good cover at a low price, right? But if I do not have that great health, or I have a lifestyle issue like I'm overweight, or I have cholesterol, or I have diabetes, I have multiple diseases, and I want a cover at a lower premium only, or at an average premium, then the benefits will go down, right? The third option could be that आपको diseases है और आपको basically premium का कोई issue नहीं है, तो आपको cover मिल जाएगा, but then your price will go up very high,
Yes.
right? So it's a balance of these three
Got it.
things. Either
But-
what is your profile, what is
Mhm.
that you're getting, and the price. Right?
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
it becomes unaffordable for someone at a particular age when he has that risk. कि वो प्रीमियम ही नहीं पे कर पाएगा, तो that's why most insurance companies have created those plans where they are balancing it out with terms and conditions of the policy.
Got it. But why that question was in my mind ki at the age of 35, if I have certain health conditions, I'll not be able to cover. But yes, if I'm able to pay that premium, that expensive premium, I will get the cover. It's not like कि मुझे average cover ही मिलेगा.
Correct.
There
That's
are
again an
policies.
assumption. See, that's again an assumption.
Okay.
See, health insurance is very dynamic. I am saying something which is true today, right? It could be possible that an insurance company may say कि diabetes हो, hypertension हो, मैं दे दूंगा cover after 5 years. But that's an assumption that are you willing to take that risk of that? Taking that assumption is now the question that the person who's taking that risk has to take. I cannot be taking that risk. I would like to err at the side of caution, which is basically saying that भाई जब तक healthy हो, पैसे है, take a good cover and forget about it. Instead of taking that risk कि मुझे आगे जाके कुछ disease हो गया and then I have to go to 4 insurance companies, apply and then get a policy from someone, which is also not the policy that I would have bought if I would have had my health issues, and then premiums are higher. All those things come into picture, the complications that come into picture.
Got it.
You can completely avoid it while you are healthy. And typically मुझे लगता है कि 31, 32 की age में you are reasonably healthy. You are also taking more responsibilities. You also have good money compared to what you had previously.
Yes, logical.
And that's why that it takes care of everything, and you should take that as a milestone and pre-book a cover for your 50, 55, 60 age at that age and just live a good peaceful life. भूल जाओ health insurance को.
सही है. So but now let's say कि I am 35. I haven't taken the health insurance policy. I've seen Beshak podcast and I've seen Mahavir, and Mahavir is saying कि you buy health insurance. So
late हो गया.
हाँ मेरा को late हो गया, but I want to take it, right?
Yeah.
अब मैं क्या करूँ?
Right. So then it becomes a very case to case thing, right?
Okay.
At 35 also there are people who are healthy, right, and completely fit. At 40 also there are people who are healthy and they can be fit. So if you're fit and healthy, then you still have what a 30-year-old could have got.
Got it.
Everything is a function of you being healthy, fit, not having any diseases. अगर आप अच्छे health में हो, तो 35 नहीं 40 भी मिलेगा. The question is not कि आप 35 में मिलेगा कि 40 में मिलेगा. It's not a question of age. Question is are you willing to take a risk of another 1 more year of not having adequate health insurance and taking the assumption that मुझे health में कोई problem नहीं होगा. Right? That is the key question.
Got it.
Right? So at 35, if your health is completely fine, you don't have any health issues, no problems, then that is quickly, right now, you should go and buy a health insurance, because this is still, you are not late, right?
Got
But
it.
at 35 now, let's say we are taking another question where, a scenario actually, where you're saying that 35 hai or disease ho gayi hai, let's say hypertension ho gaya hai. Then in that specific scenario, then your options could slightly narrow down, because like I said, an insurance company is looking at a 35-year-old having hypertension as a very, very good red flag, right? And that's why probably some of the insurance companies may not offer you. Still, there will be certain insurance companies that will offer you. So your options are going to get narrowed, more and more narrowed down as your age increases and diseases start getting diagnosed, right? इसीलिए मतलब वो होने के पहले लेना अच्छा है. तो 35 हो, 40 हो, and you are looking at this podcast and you don't have a disease, go right now and buy. You are going to still get the best cover in the market. And if you have a disease, still you should go ahead and buy a policy quickly, because your choices have narrowed down, but it could narrow down further. So it's a good time to even quickly now take a policy.
अब समझ में आया, like I got the understanding now कि with the health condition, health is basically related to health insurance. मतलब people think कि मेरा health खराब होगा तो मुझे health insurance लेना चाहिए, but it's the other way around, which you keep on saying it.
Yeah.
कि so now let's talk about my mom and dad. कि they तो are not 35, they are 50. My uncle, he's 45. What about those people? कि if I'm thinking I want to cover my mom and dad, like for any worse conditions which might happen in the future, what some insured, or how should I look at it? How should I look at buying the health insurance policy for my mom and dad, who are something above 50 or above 45? How should I look at it?
So first, I would like to start from 30 only.
Okay.
So let's say at 30K umar mein, what is the coverage that you need? Let's start from there, and then you will actually get an answer for everybody after 30.
Perfect.
Right? So 30K umar mein, what you need to do is basically, there is a one way of basically doing a simple calculation, which I've explained in a lot of places, is that understand what is the coverage that you would require today. Like I am a 30-year-old. What is the minimum or the max? Sorry, not the minimum. What is the maximum cover that you would need today, in your view? So typically, the answer would come in the range of between 3 lakhs to 10 lakhs, depending upon which city you live in, which part of India you live in, and that would define that. So let's take it as 5 lakhs, right? So I think 5 lakhs is good enough for me today. Now, healthcare inflation, which is basically the cost, the rate at which cost is increasing for hospitalization is in the range of 12 to 14%, right? That is what people say. So whatever is your hospital bill today for a specific disease, every 6 years that is going double, right? तो आज अगर आपको लग रहा है कि 5 लाख इनफ है, that same 5 lakhs in 6 years from now is going to be 10 lakhs, right? Now we spoke about कि 30 की उम्र में you should take a cover for 50 to 55, right? So that is a 20-year का the time horizon, right? So basically from that point of view, if you're looking at 5 lakhs as a good cover at the age of let's say 30, then you apply a let's say 10% inflation on that.
Got it.
And you put it on an Excel sheet and look at what cover you need at 50. 50 की एज में typically जो मैंने last calculation किया था, and if I'm wrong it can be corrected later, is around 25 lakhs, right?
Okay.
So that is the cover that you need actually. 5 lakhs at 10% inflation year on year as a compounded, and 20 years from now it will be coming to around 24-25 lakhs. So 25 lakhs in my view is the minimum cover that you need.
Is the minimum cover you are saying?
Yes.
Is the minimum cover?
Is the minimum cover that you need. See, look at it from a point of view of inflation, right? आज इंडिया जो कंट्री है, राइट, उसमें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है जो समझनी चाहिए कि इंडिया में गवर्नमेंट डज नॉट स्पेंड ऑन हेल्थ केयर, राइट? दे आर स्पेंडिंग ऑन हेल्थ केयर ओनली फॉर द पीपल हु आर पुअर, राइट? But let's say someone who is a middle class or an upper middle class, or someone who is an aspirational class, right? That class के लिए there is no such healthcare infrastructure that is available where you and I will go, right? So then you are dependent on private hospitals. Private hospitals का किस्सा बहुत simple है कि आप और मैं जो private hospital में आते हैं, वो private hospital सारे एक जैसे नहीं है. Every private hospital is a different private hospital, and I'll explain what I'm trying to say. थोड़ा मैंने थोड़ा fuzzy हो गया ये.
What do you mean by different?
हाँ, so point ये है कि if I'm living right now, we are shooting this in Andheri West in Mumbai, right? तो अंधेरी वेस्ट में अगर मैं मुंबई में हूँ तो मेरे लिए जितने भी लोग यहाँ पे रह रहे हैं वो प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल नहीं ढूंढ रहे, वो सबसे बेस्ट प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल ढूंढ रहे हैं. तो फॉर एग्जांपल कोकिलाबेन करके यहाँ पे एक हॉस्पिटल है,
ठीक है.
तो अगर कुछ भी बेसिक बीमारी भी हुआ किसी को या थोड़ा भी सीरियस बीमारी हुआ तो दे विल थ्रॉन्ग टू दैट हॉस्पिटल ओनली, एंड दैट इज ओनली वन गुड हॉस्पिटल इन दिस एरिया इज व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड. आई मे बी रॉन्ग, बट मुझे जितना याद है उतने तो मुझे याद है कि दिस इज द ओनली हॉस्पिटल अवेलेबल. सो द डिमांड सप्लाई फॉर दैट वन हॉस्पिटल is insane, right? So even if you think कि अरे इतने सारे हॉस्पिटल्स है, फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता है, because beyond a certain disease, beyond a certain surgery, you want to go to the best hospital, and the number of best hospitals, the number of best doctors, the number of quality doctors are very low in India compared to the demand that is there, and that's why healthcare inflation is not going to slow down for a good period of time unless government steps in and does something, right? Government ने try भी किया है, like for example जो heart में stent लगता है, basically a stent that basically removes the block, right? From so government basically did something where they said that stent का price इसके ऊपर नहीं लगा सकते हो आप, उसको basically उसमें essential में डाल दिया, and they said that doctors cannot charge more than this. What doctors did is doctors increased the fees of basically putting that stent, and still the cost remains the same, right? So basically because it is private and you are dependent on your own savings, you will have to ensure that you have a sum insured which is going to take care and factor this demand supply situation, and then buy a health insurance, right? So मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि 25 लाख सुनने में बहुत बड़ा लग रहा है, but actually it's a very small amount. I'll give one more example. My father 25 years ago, and this is very strange, we are talking about 20 years ahead, but now I'm talking 25 years ago, had bought a 2 lakh cover, right? अभी 2 लाख कैसे लग रहा है सुनने में?
बहुत ज़्यादा छोटा,
बहुत ज़्यादा छोटा लग रहा है. तब he was flaunting it, right? You're saying I have a 2 lakh cover, 2 lakh का cover लिया मैंने, right? Now you cut today, 2 lakhs is looking small.
Nothing.
Exactly what is going to happen for 25 lakhs 20 years from now, right? 2 lakhs sounded amazing. When I was young, my father had 20 lakhs cover. He said, अरे बहुत अच्छा cover है, ये तो बहुत अच्छा है. I used to feel myself when I just had joined health insurance industry or insurance industry. Today that 2 lakh looks like nothing. 2 lakhs तो ऐसा हो गया है कि मतलब कोई खुद की जेब से भी भर देगा, चलो मतलब to a certain extent अगर push comes to shove you will pay it on your own also, so it's become that small. That's what's going to happen for 25 lakhs also. So whenever you're looking at 25 lakhs today, don't look at it that way. There's no point. Look at the demand supply situation, look at the pricing situation, look at hospitals are not regulated in India, right? कुछ भी
मैं
charge कर रहा
उसी
है
पे आ रहा
hospital.
था कि मतलब आपने बीच में इस्तेमाल किया था, सॉरी फॉर इंटरप्टिंग इन बिटवीन,
No,
कि
absolutely not a problem.
हॉस्पिटल अपने हिसाब से चीजें कर रहा है. फॉर एग्जांपल यू गिव द एग्जांपल ऑफ स्टिंट
Yes.
कि ये हुआ, गवर्नमेंट लेके आया तो ये कर दिया, तो ऐसे तो कभी कोई चीज रुकेगी ही नहीं. लाइक
Yes. And that's why you need to factor a very high cover. See, we have two options. Either to we wait here and sulk and say that अरे government कुछ कर नहीं रही है, and the other option that we have is that we go to a government hospital. गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में सब कुछ सस्ते में होता है. आप यही जो मैं सर्जरी की बात कर रहा हूँ जो 3-5 लाख रुपए में होती है वो करा लो आप. हार्ट सर्जरी कोई गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल में तो हो जाएगी, शायद 50,000 में हो जाएगी, राइट? बट आर यू ओके विद टेकिंग योर पेरेंट्स, और आई वुड नॉट गो टू दैट हॉस्पिटल टू डू अ मेजर सर्जरी. So then you will go to a private hospital. That's a choice that you're making. Now for that choice you'll have to pay a price, right? And the government is not ready to pay that price. At least that is what I know today, and that's why you will have to pay a price. Now you pay the price in two ways. Either you finance it with a health insurance, or you be ready to pay the cost when it comes to paying the cost, right? And that's why you need to calculate all this. So that's why 25 lakhs is the minimum cover that you need for one person. If you're buying a floater, like I said in the beginning, get 25 plus 25, 50 lakhs
50
minimum
lakh.
hona chahiye, right? And the story does not end here.
आप ना ओके, सो लाइक वेयर विल द स्टोरी गो? लाइक
So
50
this
लाख
is
बहुत
the
बड़ा
linear
अमाउंट है.
calculation. I'm saying, हाँ 50 lakh बड़ा amount again. My
बहुत.
father took a 2 lakh cover. He felt it was great, a big cover, right? Again, I'm going to that same story. 50 lakhs is not a big cover when you look at it from 20 years from now, right? Now, the second thing that comes, this is a linear calculation for the minimum sum insured in my view that you need to take. Minimum sum insured is what I said earlier.
You are saying big amounts and then you are saying minimum also. तो थोड़ा हाँ ठीक है. अब बोलिए. सॉरी.
See the thing, so look at it objectively. Whatever I'm saying, you
Got
can
it.
validate it with any information outside that is available, right? So 50 lakhs तो minimum है. Now we took a linear calculation, but दुनिया
Okay.
linear चलती तो है नहीं, right? Look at it from a point of view that something which is called, after this, when you've done this calculation, there is another angle that you need to look at. And whenever you're doing the risk management for yourself, that is the second angle that you need to see, which is called the black swan moment, or basically something which is called a tail event, right?
ओके.
आ गया कुछ, right? Suddenly, which could be a larger surgery. Like for example, today, right? A cardiac transplant. ऐसे सुनने में थोड़ा लगेगा cardiac transplant मतलब I'm talking about something which is very very exotic today, but cardiac transplant होता है, right? Heart transplant.
हार्ट
होता है.
ट्रांसप्लांट.
It costs 25 lakhs today, right? A liver transplant in my view costs around 30-35 lakhs today, right? अगर ये वाली disease हो गई, right? तो आपने जो linear calculation किया वो तो आज ही enough नहीं है cover. So you'll also have to factor in a tail event which would probably happen only once or twice in the lifetime of a person, but that also needs to be factored, right? तो आपको वो भी factor करना है उसके साथ साथ, right? Tail event एक तो है आपकी body में जो tail event हो सकती है, which is like a disease, and the tail event, another event is an environmental tail event, right? Which is basically like COVID.
कोविड हैपेंड. यस.
COVID में ऐसा हो रहा था कि 75,000 rupees per day of hospitalization भी ICU में पे किया लोगों ने, right? For 20 days. कर लो calculation, it comes to 15 lakh rupees, right? So that is another angle. Another third angle is basically technology change, right? हम basically बीच में discuss कर रहे थे in office that let's say मैं cancer की treatment ही change हो गई world में, right? कुछ robotic treatment आ गई या कुछ नया एक innovation आ गया, but that innovation comes with patent, and that innovation in itself, because it comes with patent, the cost of it can be crazy, right? Because that company which has done the innovation needs to recover the cost. So immunotherapy करके there is a cancer treatment that is now available, and typically what I know, and I'm not a doctor or a medical person to say it, but the cost of a immunotherapy, which is a replacement for chemotherapy, and again take it with a pinch of salt because I'm not a doctor, but what I've heard, the cost is 5x between an immunotherapy and a chemotherapy and an immunotherapy, right? 5x, right? And this can you think about how this is going to change in the future, medical science, how it will move, how medical technology will move. Now we are talking even about biotechnology, right, where basically there will be a mix of basically technology and human body, right? We don't know all this, right? And that's why ये सब तो मतलब थोड़ा और मतलब this is a topic for some other day, but typically that's why the original answer to this, the ultimate answer to this, not the original answer to this, is that 50 lakhs is minimum, right? Whatever above that you can actually afford, maximum that you can afford, is the answer to the question how much cover you should buy. अगर आपको 3 करोड़ अभी अफोर्ड कर सकते हो तो ले लो 3 करोड़, आपको 2 करोड़ अफोर्ड कर सकते हो तो ले लो 2 करोड़, तो 1 करोड़ भी कर सकते हो तो 1 करोड़ ले लो,
महावीर मतलब यू आर सेइंग कि जितना ले सकते हैं, पहली चीज तो मतलब आई एम currently shocked कि 50 lakh is the minimum cover which a person should go for at the age of 30 and उसके ऊपर 1 करोड़ 2 करोड़ 3 करोड़, तो ये सुनने में बहुत हैवी लगता है.
राइट.
प्राइसिंग भी वैसी होगी. आप कुछ बता सकते हैं लाइक वो कैसा प्राइसिंग रहता है, वो व्हाट इज द प्राइसिंग फॉर
बेसिकली ऐसा नहीं है कि 10 लाख कवर इफ इट कॉस्ट यू लेट्स से 10,000 रुपीज 1 करोड़ विल कॉस्ट यू 1 लाख रुपीज, ऐसा नहीं होता है. हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस डज नॉट चार्ज यू एट अ लीनियर लेवल फॉर हायर सम इंश्योर दैट यू टेक. तो टिपिकली अगर 10 लाख रुपए का कवर 10,000 रुपए में आ रहा है, 1 करोड़ का कवर 25,000 में आएगा. राइट. सो विल पे 15,000 रुपीज मोर.
ओके.
राइट. So that is basically because insurers also know that you are not going to be able to use it right now. So they are factoring it, baking in the price के भाई आप ले रहे हो higher cover, but you will never be able to use it for let's say like next 10-20 years. So and you will hardly any people will claim this amount. That's why the cover amount and the price is not linear. Prices go down per sum insured rate, which is basically lakh per lakh, let's say ले लीजिए, as you increase your sum insured. So that is an advantage. The other advantage is that you could create a combination between a base policy and having a super top up policy. अब दोनों का एक साथ में combination बना सकते हो.
You have used the words base policy, super top up. So for a customer, first, if you can explain what are these things and what should be the combination of these two things. If you can give an example for
so basically, what I was going to just come to that is basically that there is a method by which if you already have a cover of let's say 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs, you can buy a cover above that, which is basically it works like a separate policy, but it works as an extension of the existing policy. तो आप एक उसके ऊपर पॉलिसी ले सकते हो. तो आपके पास 10 लाख का कवर है तो आप एक 90 लाख का कवर उसके ऊपर ले सकते हो, which is called a super top up policy, which will say that first 10 lakhs will be paid from the previous policy. I will start paying from 10 lakh 1 and onwards, right, to 1 crore. So you can buy a super top up policy. Typically, the price of buying 1 crore policy versus buying 10 plus 90, the difference could be around 10 to 15% premium. तो उसमें आपको उतना एडवांटेज मिल जाता है. It's a short term advantage. You gradually go away because as the cover amount requirement increases, as the amount of claims increase, तो वो धीरे धीरे चले जाएगा. But today that advantage is available at the age that typically you are in. You will have that advantage. So you could use that advantage to buy a 10 plus 90 versus 1 crore. But always do a comparison and see that.
बट क्या मतलब आप क्या recommend करेंगे? What do you recommend? कि
see ideally buying one cover is always good because आपको manage करने के लिए easy है, आपके पास एक ही policy है. But if it is an advantage, which is like a 15% advantage, and let's say you're going to pay 40,000 premium, and if you're saving 6,000 rupees, that's a call that only a person who's paying the premium can take. मैं उसका call नहीं ले सकता obviously.
Got it.
That are you okay to managing two policies? Are you okay with if there is a claim, then you will have to claim from two policies, right? That is also there. So इसमें एक और चीज जो आप हैक कर सकते हो कि buy from the same company, right? So if you buy from the same company, then claim is also continued, so it's not a problem. But obviously, finally all said and done, there are two policies. So that call has to be taken. Plus, आप जितना higher cover लेते हो तो उसमें थोड़े थोड़े benefits add होते जाते हैं. Like if you buy a 10 lakh cover, the benefit will be different. 20 lakh cover, 30 lakh cover में insurer may give some additional benefits, right? Meaning basically, for example, medical test है. तो मैं 25 लाख पे मेडिकल टेस्ट आपको जो दूंगा वो और थोड़ा अच्छा मेडिकल टेस्ट दूंगा. देयर इज अ फ्री मेडिकल टेस्ट दैट कम्स विद एवरी हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस. मोस्टली नाउ एवरी हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस comes with a free health insurance.
Okay.
Sorry, with a free health checkup. So if you're buying a 25 lakh cover, then you may get a health checkup. The combination of tests that you will get may be much better than something that you will get at 10 lakhs. So that's a call, honestly. But मैं अगर होता, and they're talking about a typical like a urban upper middle class guy who's let's say earning 15 lakh rupees a year का salary है या 10 lakh rupees a year का salary है, तो for that person typically it's a smart move to basically look at 10 plus 90, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So समझ आया मुझे थोड़ा. If you can like elaborate more on this particular thing, because like from the Indian mindset, it's for me it is like 15% if I'm saving on my income or on that particular premium, it's a big deal for me, right? Because I'll be paying it for the next 20 years, 30 years. So I'll be saving a lot. So if you can elaborate more on this super top up and base policy for the 30-year-old person, what are the benefits? Let's say 3 benefits, 4 benefits, 5. These are the 5 key benefits for this particular thing.
So the benefit is only price, right? You basically buy a 10 plus 90 instead of buying a 1 crore one policy, the benefit is only price, right?
Okay.
The negatives are basically, like I said, that the first negative is that you have two policies, you have to manage two policies. The second is that basically a benefit of buying a 1 crore policy is that one single policy is that basically you could get better benefits in that policy, right? Which I said basically like a medical test. So these are the benefits that you get. Plus claim agar aayega, so then you have to only claim in that one policy instead of claiming in two policies. So that is the only weighing thing that is happening, that either you want to save price or you want less administration of time and administration and time and effort in basically managing the policy.
Got it.
Mostly what I've seen, people opt for the of the 10 plus 90 versus buying a 1 crore policy. There is one more advantage, I'll tell you, of 10 plus 90, which actually just struck my mind right now while I was speaking to you, is that while this is not a topic of discussion right now, but it's important for people to understand, is that health insurance के prices भी बहुत बढ़ सकते हैं, right? आगे जाके मतलब मैं अगर I am reaching my old age and the prices of health insurance have become very high and I'm not able to afford it, right? I'm not able to afford health insurance. Let's say I have a 1 crore cover, one policy, 1 crore, and I'm not able to afford it. Right?
Okay.
One way of doing it is that I basically reduce my coverage. राइट मतलब मैं को अभी मेरे को पैसे नहीं है मेरे पास, तो मैं इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को बोलता हूँ मेरा 50 लाख कर दो, 25 लाख कर दो, तभी, राइट, एट माई ओल्ड एज. द अदर वे टू डू इट इज दैट लेट्स से 20-25 years फ्यूचर में हम जा रहे हैं अभी, तो व्हाट आई कुड डू इज दैट आई ड्रॉप माई, इफ आई हैव अ 10 plus 90, I drop the 10 ka policy. I don't renew the 10 ka policy and just keep a 90 wala policy. Then I pay from the 0 to 10 out of my own pocket, right? And everything above 10 lakh 1,000, 10 lakh 1 or 10 lakh 1,000, whatever, I basically cover it from my insurance policy, right? The idea of this is that जब भी ये होगा, suppose if the premiums become very expensive, I will, if I drop my base policy, I'll save a lot of premium, right? And the policy, the typically a policy which starts from zero, which is your base policy, will always be more expensive than a policy which has super top up, which is like a policy which starts from 10 lakh 1, because insurance company को तो मालूम है कि average claim तो उससे कम ही आने वाला है for a good period of time. So I will basically only start paying after a certain period, certain amount of claim comes. The pricing is very low for super top up policies, right? So that's also a mechanism of saving yourself from higher increase of premium in old age, right? And you having to not being able to afford it, and hence you can drop the 10 lakh policy, कहेंगे ठीक है ये मैं मेरे savings से देख लूँगा, and then 10 lakh 1 से at least I'm covering myself for a major disruption in my financial life. मेरे savings ही नहीं इतने हैं, and taking that is taken care of by my super top up policy. So that's also one reason why people can use that policy. So these are multiple factors.
Got it. Mahavir, so I'm going a little out of topic, you can say, but it is within the same domain. You have used the word saving, right? And I'll tell you from my real life example. One of my friends, he's earning decent amount, so he had the health insurance policy, but he took it at the age of 24, I believe, right? And he was like, "Acha, theek hai, I'll go online, I'll buy purchase policy." There was a person who called him. It was a call center. He called him and he explained each and everything about the health insurance policy, but which he didn't know about, right? So and he took the policy. Like 3-4 calls came to him and he took the policy. Okay, हाँ ठीक है, ले लेते हैं policy, right? मस्त बात ये है कि at the time of claim, like he recently he had a surgery and he claimed that health insurance policy, and he got a very bitter experience during the claim process. And you know, like when you are investing in something and you are expecting a result from it, like because health insurance we can't see right now, right? Like we'll see it after a later time when we require.
Correct.
When we have high expectation from something and we don't get it, so hate बहुत बढ़ जाता है for that particular thing. And he said me, मतलब ये saving से मुझे याद है कि he told me कि यार I'll not take health insurance policy. I'm earning decent amount. I'll invest 25,000 per month in my saving, and I'll take care of my entire health from this particular saving.
Yeah.
Is this the right way to proceed at the age of 25, 26, 30?
So a lot of people basically do these Excel calculations thinking that SIP कर लेता हूँ, and then basis that SIP, this will be the corpus that I will have, and that is good enough for me to take care of my own healthcare needs. Insurance company पे भरोसा नहीं है मुझे. See, the emotion is right. A lot of people, and specifically if you're a consumer of social media on a day-to-day basis, you will see that you will hear more bad news about health insurance than good news. And that is the reason why this is happening, and where people are losing trust on health insurance on a day-to-day basis. I see that happening. and then the point comes that मैं खुद ही insurance company बन जाता हूँ. This is what they are saying. Basically, essentially, what this friend of yours is saying that मैं खुद की fund बनाता हूँ, right? इतना आसान होता तो health insurance companies loss नहीं कर रही होती. That is my first answer to it, and that's little my blunt answer to that question. But the simple the more empathetic answer to that question is that आप जब health insurance खरीद रहे हो, you're not buying a health insurance of 1 lakh, 10 lakh, 1 crore. You're buying a 1 crore cover, which is over a period of multiple number of years that you will live, right? So health insurance reinstates itself every year. आप अभी 1 करोड़ का कवर ले लिए या आपने 10 लाख का कवर ले लिया, आपने यूज कर लिया 6 लाख. When you renew your policy, it again becomes 10 lakh. Then next year you use 3 lakhs, it becomes 7 lakhs by the end for that year. But when you renew it again it becomes 10 lakhs. So when you're calculating fund, you will have to actually calculate that you are getting a 10 lakh cover which is reinstated every year. That nobody understands. People think that मुझे 10 लाख का cover लेना है, मैं एक 50 लाख का fund बना लेता हूँ. But what happens in those tail events that we spoke about, right?
Yes.
And that will just poof away everything. And then you do not have any cover left, and then you are doling into savings of your retirement or your child's education के लिए आपने जो save किया है, बाकी चीज़ों में आपको you have to dole out money from there, and God forbid probably take a loan or do crowdfunding. That happens today, right? We see on social media that so many people are doing crowdfunding for 50 lakhs, 20 lakhs on a day-to-day basis. That is not the best situation to be in. So वो एक चीज़ है. दूसरा है कि health insurance gives you a lifetime cover. So if you're buying a floater, then both the husband and the wife are getting a lifetime guaranteed cover of health insurance. तो वो उसका fund बनाना, where you are, let's say if you live till 70, 80, making that fund in itself is an extremely complex exercise. You don't know how many surgeries you're going to require. You don't know whether there will be a tail event or not. You don't know whether you will be able to create a fund which will reinstate the way I said, all this, right, put together. So it's not so simple, right, meaning to be able to do that, because आपको छोटे छोटे बहुत सारे अगर claims हो गए, then basically you will think that your fund will take care of it, but basically it will keep eating into that fund.
Got it.
And you will end up not having a fund when you actually need it, right? One more thing that I come to usually be asked about is that I will create a fund of, let's say, 10 lakhs and buy a super top up over it.
Yes, मतलब I was coming to that only.
Yeah. तो वो फिर भी थोड़ा better sensible है वो, मतलब क्योंकि आप एटलीस्ट ये कर रहे हो कि अच्छा ये मैं अफोर्ड कर पाऊंगा at any point in time, right? And let me just buy a super topper. But again, when you're doing that calculation, you should understand the reinstatement part of your health insurance policy and then compare it that way.
Got it.
Like किसी को कैंसर के लिए 3 years के लिए कंटिन्यूस ट्रीटमेंट लगा, and every year let's say the cost of the treatment is 6-7 lakhs, right? And you've taken a 10 lakh के ऊपर का policy, your super topper will not trigger only every year, and you will have to pay that 6-7 on your own pocket for 3 years. Let's say ये scenario है, right? तो 5 लाख रुपए 5 लाख ये साल लगा, 6 लाख अगले साल लगा, 7 लाख रुपए थर्ड ईयर में लगा. All this is not triggering your top up policy, so you will keep paying from your pocket. So when you are looking at a super top up strategy and taking a fund, then again you should also understand that these small claims or the small surgeries that could happen over a period of time, that would that be taken care of by the fund or not? If you're smart enough that you are creating a fund that will take care of that, or you're rich enough, आपने इतना ही corpus बना लिया है, तो of course that is possible. Yeah,
Got it.
Like a ultra HNI who has like 100 crores in their bank account, they don't need a health insurance, right?
अच्छा महावीर, we were talking about my mom and dad taking cover for them. हम 30, we talked about 30, but let's talk about my mom and dad, or like people who are above 50.
Correct.
And how to see ki how much sum insured they should take, or what is the health insurance coverage amount I should look for them.
Correct. So at that age, again the question will come, who's paying for it, and whether there is an affordability angle that will come into picture. But let's say for now we are thinking about that there is enough affordability available. Then again the same calculation that I explained from 30 to 50 will have to be done from 50 to whatever longevity you're thinking of, let's say 70, 75, 80, and then basically calculate based on that. Typically what we recommend is that if you've hit 55, 60, then having a 10 to 15 lakh cover should be good enough per individual. But again, if you're looking at a tail event, which I said, again it will again have an impact of that, then another 15 lakhs would be required. So around, अगर affordability है तो at that age group also a 25 to 50 lakh cover का जरूरत पड़ेगा, मतलब in my view it will be required, keeping in mind the tail event, right? But at the same time, one thing which will be very counterintuitive, that right now we said that 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore cover is good enough for someone who is right now at 20, 25, 30 years actually, sorry. But probably someone who's already hit 50, 55, उनके लिए इतना cover की जरूरत नहीं है. So it's very counterintuitive. Like a older person requires lesser cover, a younger person requires higher cover. But that is how it is.
But like for my mom and dad, so I should take tail event. I should consider
Yeah.
tail event, right? Like
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
anything can happen, right?
Correct.
So is 25 lakh enough? Like you said, ki 25, 30 lakh.
Like
is
I said, that
enough?
minimum cover and maximum cover का question है. In my view, we can only calculate minimum.
Okay.
Maximum you cannot calculate
Huh.
because maximum is a function of how you are looking at your risk, right? Meaning if you look at it from worst case scenario, buy the maximum cover that is available. Second is that you have to weigh in the premium that you are supposed to pay. How much premium are you okay to pay? What is your mental accounting of that premium? Like if you feel that मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ आपको कि ले लो 50 लाख, but when you go to the market and find out that 50 लाख का कवर का प्रीमियम ही 2 लाख रुपए आ रहा है for a 55-year-old, then you will backtrack and say, okay, let's look at 25 lakh. So it's a balancing game of basically how you look at risk,
Okay.
and how you're looking at how much premium you want to pay, and then take a call between that. So it's a very subjective thing. So only thing that can be recommended is the minimum cover. In my view, a minimum cover of 20 to 25 lakhs per individual is still important for someone who's hitting 50 today. At 60, probably a 10 lakh individual for both parents is good enough. So 10 plus 10, 20 is good enough. Because I am also calculating in my head how much premium it is going to cost, right?
Okay.
And मैं वो balance करके बोल रहा हूँ कि 10 plus 10 ही ले पाओ. Most of the people that I am able to picture will be able to buy that much only. And that should take care of 99% of the things, right?
Okay, but still, like, I'm still not convinced. If I'm at the age of 30, I should take minimum 25 and then I should consider tail event. But the same person at the age of 50,
Yeah.
tell me if I'm wrong, at the age of 50, he or she is, they have the safety net with 25 lakh, including the tail event for the next 25 years. I'm not able to digest this.
Yeah, so like I again said, that I don't think, let me just repeat what I said. What we can do here is just a basic Excel sheet calculation of what is the minimum cover that is required.
Got it.
The maximum cover that is required is something that if anybody is confidently able to say this, he's probably just fooling around, or he has not put everything, all the data that is available to date, or all the dimensions of how coverage could be required into play while doing that calculation. So confidently giving an answer for a maximum sum insured is not possible.
Not possible.
Minimum sum insured is what I would say, and maximum sum insured is a play of what is available, the premium, that is this, and basically how are you looking at the risk.
So Mahavir, now for a layman, like let's say ki, I want to choose the health insurance cover. How does our true match help us? Like if I want to check for my mom and dad, how can I check? Or for my brother who is currently married, so how can I check? How will true match help?
Yeah, so basically what we have done is what I was explaining, right? Which is basically that there is a balance of the current age that you are, the kind of disposable income that you have, the premium that you can pay, and the current covers that are available. All that put together, what we have done is that when we have created True Match, we have basically done all these matching of combinations, and then basically we recommend. So a lot of people, it could be a no-brainer for them that they can just go to a True Match tool and basically get this cover recommendation from a tool itself, right? And just for the audience, basically True Match tool is a recommendation engine which basically tells you what kind of cover that you need. And not only that, it also tells you what kind of riders you should choose, what kind of customizations are good for you, for the kind of scenario and the lifestyle and the disease or the medical history that you have and your age. And also recommends the top 3 plans that are best suitable for you at the current situation, the current requirements that your age would have. So if you're a senior citizen, you're buying a plan for a senior citizen, or you're a 40-year-old, or you're a 30-year-old, or you're a 25-year-old, it will exactly tell you kitna cover lena hai, kaun se riders choose karne hai, kaun sa plan suitable hai, everything. So you can just, it takes around 3 minutes max to create a report. It will tell you everything, so you can use that tool.
So Mahavir, I'll ask you the simplest question or the direct question: ki what are some common mistakes which you can list down, which a common man makes while choosing the health insurance cover?
Right. So basically, the first mistake, which is almost been something that we were discussing so far, is that taking a low cover and assuming that you will get a higher cover whenever you want. So that's something that we've discussed at length. So I'm not going to expand on that. That is the mistake number one. Second is something that a lot of people don't understand, which is something that is very, very important, is understanding what is the effective coverage that you have, right? So if you have a cover which is, let's say, 1 crore or 50 lakhs or 20 lakhs, and you at the same time in that policy have a lot of financial limits, right? The effective cover may not be the cover that you've taken. Like for example, आपने 10 lakh का cover ले लिया,
Okay.
right? But it has a lot of limitations, the financial limitations in the policy. Like for example, the policy allows you only to take a room of basically private room, right? It does not allow you to take a room which is above private room. Or let's say if you have limitations on every kind of surgery that happens, like there are policies where there could be limits on the kind of based on the kind of surgery, they could basically limit what is the amount that you can claim, right?
Okay.
So for example, I may have a 10 lakh cover, but my cataract surgery is limited to, let's say, 50,000 rupees per eye. Or let's say saying that cancer is covered only till 2.5 lakhs. Or let's say heart surgery is covered only till 3 lakhs. And the effective coverage actually could be only 3 lakhs even if you have a 10 lakh cover. So this is something that people don't understand. Typically this happens when you are buying a group policy, and a group policy typically is sold by mostly apps, right? Meaning these financial apps that exist, banks, right? Or even it may not be sold, but something that you get from your company, right? Your company may give you a cover which may sound very good, like a 5 lakh cover, 10 lakh cover. But when you go in the detail, when you go to the PDF, right, which the HR has sent you, and you look at that PDF, you'll come to know, most of the people come to know only at the time of claim, that there are a lot of limitations. कि आप ऐसा ही room choose कर सकते हो, या these surgeries will have basically be covered only till this amount. Or the third thing could be that every time that you make a claim, every time you also have to dole out certain amount of money from your pocket, which is called a copay, right? So if the claim is for 3 lakhs and I am approving, the insurance company is approving 2,50,000, the copay is, let's say, 10%, and 2,50,000 में से हर बार insurance company आपसे 10% आपसे charge करेगी. That is called the copay. So all these things also need to be taken into consideration, because you will feel that I have taken a 1 crore cover or a 10 lakh cover or a 50 lakh cover. That's not enough. Also looking at basically these financial limits is important, because that could define the effective coverage that you have. So this is basically the second thing. I think the others are related to making mistakes with the policy itself, right? I mean, you may actually buy a great cover, a large cover, but you may not basically renew it on time. You are not reviewing your cover every year. Like every year when you basically renew the policy, don't pay the premium like you're paying an electricity bill ka payment, that you're just completing a task. Review the cover every time that you get a chance, every renewal that you're doing, that is this cover enough? Can I pay more premium? What are the offers that are available from the insurance company for upgrade? If I can afford it, can I quickly upgrade my cover? All those things you can look at. Also, there are a lot of riders that are available that are basically add-ons. इंश्योरेंस कंपनी बोल रही है कि आप ग्लोबल कवर ले लो, या इंश्योरेंस कंपनी बोल रही है कि ठीक है ये कवर नॉर्मली नहीं होता है इन द पॉलिसी, बट आई एम गिविंग यू एन एडिशनल add-on. You pay for let's say 10% more and get a cover for that. All those things basically you can look at renewal time and increase your effective coverage. So these are typically 2-3 things that I quickly can think of that are mistakes that people could make.
Got it. So the second thing which you told, like this same thing happened with my friend. The bad experience which he had that financial limit. उसका cover अच्छा था. He had a decent cover, but he had that cap, upper cap. That's why like he paid it from his pocket, and now I realize
Okay.
So Mavi, like I'll ask the question. Like my friend would have this question. That's why I'm asking. I also have it. Ki, for your second mistake which you told, ki there might be multiple financial limits in the policy. How do I check it? Like, is there anything like we have a tool, we have a decoder. So if a common man, if I want to right now go for the health insurance policy and I want to choose my sum insured, I will check through the True Match. In the policy itself, how will the decoder help me to check these financial limits? कि मेरा room rent limit है क्या, मेरा I have this
Yeah.
surgery etc etc. How will that decoder
Yeah. So
will help us?
yeah. So basically, the tool that we have, which is called the decoder, where you could basically go to our website beshak.org and basically choose health insurance, and inside that you will see that there is a decoder. Now I think we have also created a separate menu for decoder where you can choose it from. In that, you just have to put the name of the insurance company and the name of the insurance product that you are buying, and then basically click on detailed conditions, right? Detailed terms and conditions or detailed benefits, ऐसा कुछ लिखा है. Detailed ratings, I think. And if you click on detailed ratings, it will basically take you to the section where you can look at all the financial limits in the policy in one screen only. So, and you can also compare between insurance companies. So if you're basically buying from anywhere, that does not matter. You can typically come on Beshak decoder and you can look at all the terms and conditions which you otherwise would have missed, right? The added advantage is that we have done a line by line decoding of the policy. It's not a brochure comparison which is typically available on other websites. This is a line by line study of the plan, and then we have listed down everything. So it's a very comprehensive, I think it's the most comprehensive decoding of the plan that is available in the country today.
Got it. So I got the answer for the financial limit also. For the third common mistake which you told ki I should reassess for multiple things. So is there any specific let's say ki milestones, at these milestones, for example ki I have taken the cover, I am unmarried right now, I have taken the cover right now, I took, let's say ki you said 25 lakh, I took a 25 lakh cover. At what milestones should I reassess my
every
health
renewal
Every
you should
renewal
do it. Specifically at the time of renewal, you should reassess your responsibilities. You should reassess basically if you, let's say for example, have more people now that are dependent on you, like basically you are now married, then you want to add those people in your policy. If you now become a parent, then you want to add the child in the policy. So every year you should just basically sit down for like 15-20 minutes minimum and basically review whatever you have and what are the options that are available within the same company. If you are not happy with the insurance company, outside the company in terms of portability and all that. But overall, reviewing the policy every year is a good exercise to do.
Okay.
Anyways, you're going to pay such a large amount of premium, right? So it's important that you do not just go and swipe your card or basically just click the pay button. You take some time out on a weekend to spend 15-20 minutes every year to do it. Milestones could be like getting married or basically having children, or but that a lot of that is more applicable to term insurance than health insurance. Health insurance anyways, like I said, you need to pre-book for your future. Here this exercise is only for people who probably couldn't afford the cover that they wanted at the age of 30. Then whenever they are able to afford, they should just keep syncing affordability with the cover that they have and try to increase the cover as soon as they can.
Got it. So Mahavir, we have talked about the common mistakes. One question which I forgot to ask during the super top up thing, कि I have the employer policy, let's say for 5 lakh. So can I buy super top up on that? Like, will that be good for my pocket? So can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, you can. So you can buy a super top up without a base policy also. You can buy a super top up over your company policy also. Both, right? Like I said, it is a separate policy but works as an extension over an existing policy, but it is a separate policy. So even if you stop the base policy, it still works, like I gave at the other example. So yes, the answer to your question is that if you're having a corporate policy of 5 lakhs, you can buy a 95 lakhs over that, right? But having said that, you have to, when you're looking at corporate policy and that 5 lakhs, you have to be clear about the fact that if you leave this job, then that 5 lakhs and you don't join a company which has a cover of 5 lakhs, or you basically start on your own, or you join a company which does not have that 5 lakhs cover or does not provide health insurance, then that 5 lakh will have to be borne by you, and only the cover above 5 lakhs will be covered by health insurance. So if you take that call, then yes, you can buy a cover above that, basically the 5 lakh rupees, by taking a 1 crore cover of between 5 lakh 1 and 1 crore.
Got it. Got it. So we have talked about the mistakes. We have talked about how to choose the right health insurance cover amount for all the personas. Now, one thing, premiums is most talked about, and for the Indians, for us, money matters, right? So can you suggest some ways to let's say ki I get a decent cover but at the same time in a less amount? You have
Right.
covered that in the super topper, but still,
Correct.
like, are there other ways to do it?
Yeah. So there are 2-3 ways. One of the ways, the most important one which I explained, is the super top up method only, where you basically take 2 covers and basically save around 10 to 15%. The other way is within the same policy also. When you are buying a large sum insured, within the same policy also, there is an option of deductible that is available. Right? Deductible is basically the amount of money that you want to pay from your own pocket, which you are saying that whenever there is a claim in a year, let's say whatever amount of claim is there, that amount I will pay from my own pocket. Now, most health insurance companies have started giving deductibles that are available. So 25,000 se shuru hota hai wo. So that basically says that 25,000 I will pay from my own pocket in a year's time of hospitalization expenses. After that, you can start paying, right?
Okay.
You can get a sizable discount on that. So 25,000 rupees typically could give you a discount of between 10%, 15% to 20% depending upon your age. Right? Your younger you are, your higher discount you will get.
Okay.
Right. So for insurance companies, it's very simple. Most of the claims are in the range of, when you start off for them, for a health insurance, most of the claims are in the under 2-3 lakh bracket, right? Today, right? So when you look at it from that point of view, for them, 25,000 rupees is a great sum of money, which they are basically now sharing that cost with you. So they are giving you that advantage, right? Also, what happens is that when you are ready to share money from your pocket, you will also be wiser, right?
100%.
In terms of how you will spend the money.
Yes.
And that also is an advantage the insurance company is giving you. कि भाई अगर तुम तुम्हारे पैसे से 25,000 pay कर रहे हो, you will find a hospital which is also cheaper because you are going to pay 25,000. So all that balancing put together, there is a discount that you can get. That is the second. Third is making you pay premiums for 2-3 years. Right? So you pay 1 year की जगह पे आप 3 साल का साथ में premium pay करो. And insurance companies are giving you discount 10%, 15% depending upon the insurer that you're choosing. So these are some ways by which you could basically look at it. For senior citizens, there are copay options that are available. तो आप copay अगर choose करते हो तो copay is not like deductible जहाँ पे amount fixed है. Just I gave an example of 25,000. So 25,000 rupees fixed hai. Copay is basically a percentage share. Instead of a value amount share, it is a percentage share where insurance company and the customer is deciding that every time there is a claim, then I approve. You will pay a 10% or 15% or 20% of the approved amount. That copay, if you are taking the load of that as a customer, then I will give you discount that way. So these are some methods that are available. It's best to discuss with an advisor all the options that are available because these are very dynamic and they keep changing. And today I am saying something, tomorrow there could be a new product that could come in, there could be a new kind of feature that could come in a same product. It's better that whenever you are looking at this video, you basically do this exercise of talking to 2-3 experts, talking to one good expert that you are aware of, and then basically choose make the decision based on that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as you're talking about the advisor, so for all the customers who are listening to this podcast, we have professional experts on Beshak.org platform. You can come, you can book a free call, and they will let you know each and everything, all the doubts which you have. And these experts, like, they have minimum 5 years of experience, so they'll know answers to all your doubts. Please try, visit Beshak.org and book a consultation. You will get all the answers, all the clarifications of all your doubts. So महावीर, कुछ चीज़ें थी जो आपसे पूछनी थी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कि people talk about no claim bonus or restoration benefit. These things can also help, right? So can you shed some light on that? Like, how can these things help with the sum insured?
Yeah, so meaning a lot of people feel that I have taken a cover of 10 lakhs and then I have a no claim bonus that will come into picture, which is basically going to take my cover to 20 lakhs. Or I'm taking a 25 lakhs cover, so 50 lakhs ho jayega. Plus restoration is a benefit that is available. Restoration is a benefit where every time your sum insured gets exhausted, the cover gets reinstated for the remaining period of time. So let me take both of them step one by one, right? So the first one is no claim bonus. No claim bonus is basically available when you don't make a claim, right? It's a reward that the insurance company is giving you next year for not making a claim this year, right? So if I have not made a claim, I have a 10 lakh cover, and next year I'm renewing my policy. There could be insurance companies which could give a bonus cover of between 10% to 100%, right? Which will basically make my cover from 10 lakhs to 11 lakhs or 20 lakhs also, right? The key thing to remember is that no claim bonus जो है, that basically as it increases, it will also drop when you make a claim, right?
Yes.
So let's say 10 lakhs will become 20 lakhs. 20 lakhs है मेरे पास, I will make a claim from that 20 lakhs. As soon as I make a claim, next year it will again become 10 lakhs. So however, the, no claim bonus works as step up, step down. As it steps up, if you did not make a claim, when you make a claim, it will step down in the same manner. So 10% 10% increase हो रहा है, 10% 10% reduce होगा, 100% 100% increase हो रहा है, तो 100% 100% reduce होगा. So basically from that perspective, you have to take that into consideration where you could have multiple claims over multiple years. Right? तो आपका suddenly sum insured 10 लाख था, फिर 20 लाख हो गया, फिर आपने claim कर दिया, फिर 10 लाख हो गया. So that you will have to take into consideration, right? First thing. The second is basically products, right, can be changed. Right? Insurance companies can change products. So I can basically move you to a product which does not have a no claim bonus or has a no claim bonus which is lower, right? And insurance companies have the right to do that. In India, insurance companies can basically have a board meeting where they with the product team and basically the board committee that they have created, which is basically a team of people within the company which decides how they want to change their product. And within the company, they can take an approval of changing the product, withdrawing a product, right, and changing features in the product, right? So no claim bonus is a feature, right? It can be changed, right? So that's why in my view, no claim bonus should go with the word of bonus only, that आपको ये मिला है as bonus, but don't consider this as a part of your main cover. Look at it, use it for a tail event that happens. If you have it, use it. If you don't have it, don't depend on it. That is the first thing.
Okay.
Right? That is how I would look at it. आप पैसे दीजिए आपका कवर के लिए, जो फ्री कवर आ रहा है उसके ऊपर डिपेंड मत कीजिए, राइट? सो दैट्स व्हाई आई वुड से दैट बाय द कवर, so that if an insurance company wants to withdraw that cover, they cannot withdraw because you paid for it, but whatever comes for free can be withdrawn. That is how I look at it. Right. Second is restoration. Restoration has a lot of terms and conditions, right? The first terms and condition is the most important terms and condition, actually not the first one, is that restoration works only to the amount of sum insured, right? So let's say मेरे पास 10 लाख का sum insured है, तो restoration will happen for 10 lakhs only, right? So let's say in a scenario, let's take a scenario of someone who basically had first claim and he has a 10 lakh cover. He has the first claim of let's say 3 lakh rupees. Okay. Second claim is of let's say 8 lakh rupees. Now basically he's exhausted his cover. Now depending upon policy to policy, some policies in the middle of the cover also, meaning when you have exhausted it, will pay for it. Let's say assume that it's a good policy, and restoration happening while the claim has exhausted the cover. Some policies also have कि आपका exhaustion होने के बाद से next claim से trigger होगा. It will not trigger for the same claim. So like claim number 1 is 3 lakhs, claim number 2 is 8 lakhs. Then claim number 3 say I will start paying because your claim number 2 has exhausted the cover. So restoration will get triggered for your coverage for claim number 3, not for claim number 2. But there are some policies which will also cover you for claim number 2. It's थोड़ा complicated है. But let's assume for now that the second claim that has come has exhausted the cover. The sum insured that will get basically restated is going to be 10 lakhs, which is your base cover, right? अभी आपको तीसरा claim अगर आया, so that 10 lakhs is available. Now you have 3, 8, right? So 11. So basically it got restated. So now your 9 lakhs is remaining, right? Because 10 तो पहले ही चले गया. Then your 1 lakh extra है that got paid from the 10 lakh reinstated. Now you have only 9 lakhs. Now you again have a claim. The sum insured that is available for you is only 9 lakhs. अगर किसी को 20 lakh का claim आ गया, so it's not going to get reinstated to 20 lakhs. So let's take one more example, right? कि मतलब when you have restoration, it is going to restore only up to the sum insured that you have, correct? So मैंने अगर 10 लाख का कवर लिया है, तो that does not mean कि मेरे पास unlimited cover है. मेरे पास unlimited refills है of 10 lakh. This is a very different thing. If I have a 10 lakh cover, it gets exhausted. Now second claim is of 50 lakhs. Okay. That does not mean the insurance company is going to pay 50 lakhs. It will only reinstate by 10 lakhs. It will pay 10 lakhs. Again, अगर continuously भी करते गया, for that claim 10 lakhs is only going to be available. So you have unlimited refills of 10 lakhs. You don't have unlimited coverage of whatever 10 lakhs into multiple number of times that you're going to be able to do restore. So that is something that is important to understand. It works for those small claims that I mentioned in the beginning, that आपको बहुत सारे claims आ रहे हैं and they are exhausting your cover every time. It will work for that. It's a great feature, but you should not consider it as part of your sum insured is what I feel. Again, this is a feature. If insurance companies in the long run
हाँ.
feel that भाई बहुत महंगा पड़ रहा है, या तो they increase the premium of the product, saying that भाई restoration is now not getting used right now. But if the future restoration starts getting used a lot, then they could come up with a renewal के time पे they may say that restoration has become very expensive, now I want to increase the premium of the product. Or they may say I want to withdraw restoration, or I may come up with a new product which will not have restoration and discontinue this product, right? Which is allowed as per the IIDA regulation. So again, don't get attracted by features and consider that as your cover, because it again is coming for free. It is coming as inbuilt, but it is coming for free. Look at the main base cover and keep that a paid cover is my suggestion. Right?
Got it. So you told in between ki insurance company might discontinue a product and they start with a new product. At that time, like if I have a cover and let's say 5 years down the line, that particular product is discontinued. Now how should I proceed? Like let's say I have
the right that, sorry, I'm interrupting there, but the right that you have is that insurance companies can discontinue the product, but they will have to migrate you to a product which is the next best product available in the market, available in their basket, right? So typically, let's say product A hai, product B hai, product C hai, and they have introduced a new product, right, which is product D, and you were in C, and the closest product available in the and the C product is discontinued. The closest product that is available is D now, so they will have to move you to D basically.
And all the things which comes with D, let's say it might be a premium hike for that
everything.
Everything I have to bear from my own pocket.
Yes. The product, whatever product changes happen, let's say it does not have a restoration feature. So you will not have a restoration feature.
So Mahavir, mota we have covered majority of the questions and all the questions which I had for the customers, for the consumers, for the audience who are watching. And if you think there are certain questions which are unanswered and related to Sum Insured, do write it in the comments and we'll try to get back with the video or the answer in the comment section. That's it for the today's podcast. Thanks a lot for watching.